Good morning. Today we invited our FTC robotics competition team, another member, Owen, and then also his coach, Mr. Mitchell, come here to join with us, talk about how he is learning, how he is doing the competition and face the probably lots of the challenging issue. So let's start now.
All right, Owen, let's start with an easy question. How many years have you been participating in FTC?
Yeah, so I've been doing FTC. I think this is my third season now. I started
30 years.
Yeah, 30 years.
So, yeah.
Awesome. Why did you decide to join the FTC competition?
Well, one thing for sure is my sister was in the FTC team at Wiz Robotics before me. And I often came to the workshop to pick her up, and I saw what she was doing. I thought it was really cool. I also went to the CNE to visit for one of the competitions, and I was like, wow, that seems really interesting. Looks like I can learn a lot. So I decided to join after that.
The CNE was a really fun competition. It was really good. It's too bad that they don't have it anymore. I know you're in the IB program with a heavy workload. IB is very demanding. So how do you balance your school and work with robotics?
I think one thing for sure is in order to balance school and robotics together, it requires a lot of proactive time management and determining when you have to do things and setting a plan and goals and what you want to prioritize. So for example, if I have an assignment, I know I have a robotics meeting that's important the day before, I usually try and study up before that day so I can still go to the meeting and get everything done, fulfill my responsibilities for both school and the robotics team.
Awesome. You know what, in FIRST Robotics and FTC, in the 3 years, you've faced a lot of different challenges. Can you share maybe one challenge or two that really made you maybe a stronger team member?
I think one of the biggest challenges from participating in robotics is not following a specific set of things to do, but also being creative and being able to implement that creativity through things such as design and programming. And for example, 3 years ago when it was my first season, I had no idea what I was going to do, right? I had to build a robot with my team that was essentially all rookies. And that experience taught me not only it helped me start doing Onshape, which is a CADing software. It also taught me how to program, and it taught me the nuance in how to make a robot work once you've actually designed it. And I think that's a very valuable skill, to have the creative sight and be able to implement it.
And actually starting a new team was just a challenge in itself, because I remember that team and everybody was a rookie. There was nobody with any kind of experience. So we actually did really well for a rookie team.
I think.
Okay, so apart from being a rookie team, what advice would you give to your friends or somebody, classmates or anybody that would be interested in starting a robotic competition or joining a robotics team?
From my experience doing robotics, I think the most useful thing is definitely managing your plans for the season and sticking to that plan. Because in my first season, after we made provincials, I decided to completely change our robot and implement a virtual 4-bar. It was a game where you had to stack cones on a little tower. And that decision was really bad because we ended up not having enough time to test and to program it effectively. So in the next 2 seasons after, we've tried to stick to more concrete timelines. And one of the reasons we've been so successful this year is because we actually got a robot done 2 or 3 months before the provincials, which allowed us to do really, really well. So my best advice to anyone doing robotics or going into robotics is to have a plan, be realistic, and try and make it and implement it through the entire way.
So having said that, do you feel like you've gained a lot from these competitions? And what do you think the most valuable lesson is that you've learned throughout the 3 years?
I would say, funny enough, the most valuable lesson isn't actually related to the technical skills, but it's probably about persistence and staying focused on the task at hand. I've been doing these competitions for 3 years now. I've been to a dozen, and I know that every single time you can be in a really bad position, but the most important thing is to not give up, or to not give up even before these competitions when you're preparing, because that mindset is what makes it really difficult to succeed if you don't think you can do it. And what this really means is that before, every challenge you face, for example, every time the string on our lift breaks, we have to redo it. It's about not giving up and continuing to do it. Or at competitions, I remember 2 years ago or even last year, we were basically so close to not qualifying, we completely gave up. But we stuck to it until the very last minute, and we ended up qualifying as the last team in essentially the province to make it to provincials, and that was really impressive. And it taught me that staying focused, being persistent, is probably the best thing that you can do on any team.
I think also last year, being gracious professionals, which is one of the ethos of FIRST, was really important. Helping teams help each other and so on, and we certainly saw that in our competitions this year. So now I'm going to ask you a different question. I hear your school has an FTC team.
Yeah.
And so why did you choose to join Wiz Robotics and the proteins instead of participating in your school team?
I chose to join Wiz Robotics instead of my school team, mostly because there's more time and resources that I could put into a community team rather than a school team, especially because my school team doesn't focus too heavily on robotics. It means that I can't stay until 9 or 10 every single day to work on a robot or to program. Or, for example, I don't even have a field at school that I can practice and use to program the robot with. So the great thing about doing it here and outside of school is really it's extremely flexible. Whenever I want to come, I can come, and I can get straight to work and get the practice in with Max, who was my co-driver, or I could come here, build the robot, program it, design anything I want. And these are all the important resources that make a team successful, and that's what I think we get here. Yeah.
Very good. Last question for you. What are your future plans? Like, which school would you like to go to, or what career path do you think you'd like to get into after high school?
I'm still not fully sure what super specific thing I want to go into, but I pretty certainly can say that I do want to do engineering, and I want to go to university for engineering, either in Canada or the US, so I'll see where it goes. But I think from doing robotics and actually doing the programming, mechanics, design, I think I enjoy doing all of them. Mm-hmm. And so maybe something like mechatronics at Waterloo or something related to robotics directly. I think doing robotics has taught me valuable experiences relating to what I want to do in the future. So even though I'm not sure right now, I have a good idea that I do want to go to university and pursue engineering.
I think something where you can do programming and some mechanical, a combination of different things would be a pretty good thing to do, because then you're not doing the same thing all day long, and I think
and I want to stay away from electrical.
Yeah. At least you know what you don't want to do. Well, thank you very much, Owen.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.